How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Day of the Dead, the TV show. This is Season 1, Episode 3, The Gray Mile. This is from 2021 and is once again directed by Steven Kostanski. Steven Kostanski did the first 2 episodes. I'm wondering if he's going to do all 10. You know, that'd be really rare and interesting to see one director do the whole season, you know, so see about that in the next couple episodes. This once again stars Keenan Tracey, Daniel Doheny, and Natalie Malaika, and is very, very loosely based on the Day of the Dead movie by George A. Romero. Now, I do have to say with this episode that it looks like we're actually taking a step in the right direction. You know, if episode 4 and 5 and so on keeps up this right trajectory, this might be a pretty fun show by the end of the season. Now, because we had to get through those first 2 episodes, those first 2 episodes had really, really major problems, and it'd be sad if this show does get really good by the end of the season and then we're still canceled because those first 2 episodes killed off any audience this show might have had. And that's really sad that I can see this going in the right direction, and I want this to be a good show, but man, those first 2 episodes really did a number on viewership. And I'm not saying that this episode just made everything better. The major flaws of this show are still there. It is still pretty much an in-title only remake of Day of the Dead. Like, we are getting some character names, but that's about it. And there is, you know, like, the humor still is kind of hit or miss, and we are still playing in Return of the Living Dead rules. But that being said, this is a lot better. This is a zombie show, and this episode we're actually focusing on zombies. That's crucial. There's 2 main plot arcs here, 2 main groups, and having just 2 main groups, there are a few other scenes with other characters, but focusing on just the 2 groups really makes this story a lot clearer and move in a conscious direction, you know? It really does help. The characters are starting to come together, unnecessary ones are starting to get picked off. It's much more focused this time around, and I really do like that. And I said from the beginning, the morgue crew is so much more interesting than all the others, and this episode, it's primarily the morgue crew, so I really did like that. You know, I feel that, you know, we're finally focusing on the protagonist instead of all these random jerks, and we're finally getting an episode that's pretty much just zombies. I feel we really are going in the right direction, and I hope the show keeps going in this right direction. It's just sad we had to sit through those first 2 episodes to get here. But yeah, definitely a step in the right direction. Still has problems, but this episode is so much better than the first 2. So I'm glad to see this show improving. I want this show to be a good show. And episode 3 is where I want it to be, you know, and I want it to keep getting good, you know. So let's go ahead and talk a bit about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what this story is about. No major spoilers, though. Let's talk about the mortuary crew first. Cam and Lauren accidentally hit the doctor with their hearse, and they pick him up and put him in the back, as Lauren will say later, because Cam wouldn't let me leave you on this side of the road. But he wakes up and wakes up next to half a dead body, and granted that he saw a zombie in the last episode, he's understandably freaked out. So they managed to calm him down. They managed to say, hey, look, there are zombies everywhere, but we're your friends. This is going to be okay. And it also seems that Lauren has some sort of history with the doctor that she's not telling the audience about. Now, this is just a theory, but if I had to guess what that history was, I'd say that probably a long time ago they used to date or something. That's just me guessing. And I have a feeling that, you know, him and his fiancée aren't on the same page. maybe when the zombies destroy the world, they'll get back together. I don't know. This is just me theorizing, and I could be totally wrong, but I think this is where we're going. Anyway, Lauren shows the bite on her neck to the doctor, and she's like, look, this isn't a movie, I'm not going to turn. And the doctor goes, yeah, but that's still a bite. We need to have it looked at. Now, she doesn't want to go to a hospital because of the parole thing, so they take her to the Gray Mile retirement home where the doctor works, and they do it off the books. And she's even, like, refusing anesthesia because she says no drugs whatsoever. And I feel like, you know, the first 2 episodes tried to do social commentary and did it very poorly. But I really wish they'd emphasized this. This is much more interesting social commentary. The rules are designed to keep people safe, but fear of being punished by the rules is leading to some people that did nothing really wrong getting into trouble and having to go way out of their way to avoid it. You know, Lauren didn't do anything wrong, but because she doesn't want to go back to jail, she's sitting here getting under-the-table treatment and not even getting anesthesia because it hurts so much. This is much more interesting social commentary. The rules that are supposed to protect us are hurting us, and I wish they had focused on this instead of, fracking's bad, let's not integrate it to the show and let's just say it. This is much more interesting. Anyway, while they're stitching her up, they find that the old lady has snuck out of her room, and they bump into each other in the medical wing. She needs oxygen because of, you know, her lungs, and she just wants to smoke and have a happy last few months of her life, you know? So they're all together, the 4 of them, when the zombies break out, and their first instinct is to run away, but the doctor says, no, this is full of retirees. If we just run away, the zombies will eat them all up. And this is another cool thing for Lauren's character here, is Lauren's whole beat was she had a rough life and now she hates people. And I was really worried that the show would make her very one note, but here they didn't. Lauren goes, I hate people, but then she runs out to help them anyway. And the fact that she doesn't like people, but still knows the right thing to do, and is risking herself for what she knows to be right, despite the fact that she doesn't particularly like these people, that makes her a much more interesting character, and I'm so glad they didn't just, you know, have her go, I hate people all the time, and have her just be flat. She's not flat, which is really great. But anyway, so they're gonna try to save all the people at the retirement home, and that's gonna lead to some cool sequences. We also get the mayor's crew. Now, here's a weird thing. The mayor's crew is also at the retirement home, but they don't bump into each other, and that's very strange. But anyway, the mayor's crew goes to pick up the body, you know, the guy they accidentally killed and turned into Weekend at Bernie's, and they go there, and they find the whole place is wrecked up, all the other retirees in that room are dead, and the Weekend at Bernie's guy is eating a big old leg, you know, a very funny zombie scene, just him standing there with his leg, you know, chowing down. So that was pretty funny there. But for whatever reason, the zombie, like, the Weekend at Bernie's zombie is very fast. Like, not like he's running at the camera 28 days later fast, but like you look away and you look back and he's just gone. I'm not sure what's compelling him to do that, but yeah, this zombie is very tricky, and they want to go and put it down. And along the way, the mayor, because the mayor's always thinking about her career, goes, you know, this was a problem earlier, but now if people see there's a zombie and I kill the zombie, then I'll be the town's hero. So it's kind of funny to see her go like that. You also get her PR person, and the PR person says, look, what is the secret? Because the other candidate, Pops, which they're calling him Pops, that's weird, but Pops has some dirt on her, and she says, "What's the secret? If we survive this, I'm gonna need to know because I'm gonna need to pretty much immediately start working on that." And the secret is that her husband is not her kid's father. And unfortunately, she's whispering this, and I had to go back and turn on subtitles to see what she was saying. But yeah, someone else is the kid's father, and we can all take our best guess as to who that is. Personally, again, I'm going into theory territory. I'm betting it's the sheriff, which would make the two boys half-brothers. But anyway, that's just a theory. We don't know for sure who it is. But after hearing that, and granted that the PR person is secretly having an affair with the mayor's husband, the PR person comes up with a dastardly scheme of taking the clip, the ammunition, out of the mayor's gun so that when they finally do meet the zombie, the mayor won't be able to defend herself. Now, technically, the gun would probably still have one bullet in the chamber, but whatever, that's not what the script says. So yeah, you get to see her being kind of a conniving Tales from the Crypt character, and she's planning to kill the mayor. Now, like I said, half the people in this show are evil. I do want to also say the mayor's husband is very, very dumb in this episode. Not that he was ever smart before, but they really are pushing him for comedy. And I don't know, I think he's just a little bit too stupid, and it doesn't quite work. Now, they do play off Cam for comedy as well, but I think Cam being younger and having a lot of his, idiocy for comedy, it comes out of a place of, youthful ignorance, and I think Cam's humor works a lot better than the mayor's husband's humor, and like Cam will go up to someone, like they get to the Gray Mile and Cam's like, "Oh, are they protesting elder abuse?" And Lauren's like, "It's about the election, you're being an idiot." And that sort of stuff with Cam works a lot better than the mayor's husband. Also, the elder abuse joke, I'm wondering if that's a reference to The Amusement Park, which was a lost short film by George A. Romero that they just found right before the show came out. And that film is about elder abuse as well, but that's probably too clever an Easter egg, I don't know. But anyway, the mayor's crew are running around and fighting zombies, somehow not running into the morgue crew. But yeah, this whole retirement home is overrun with zombies, the protesters are starting to get taken out, and yeah, there is, this is turning into, obviously the funeral home was ground zero with the cemetery nearby it, but this is the next place to go in the sort of dominoes that is this town, and we're seeing a new location fall to the zombies, and I do like, the doctor, his plot is merging with the morgue crew, and, even though they don't interact, the other crew is at the same place, so this is much more focused. Now, we still have a couple other plots. The mayor's son is still dragging that beer keg, trying to fish it out of the water, and they think they hear the party nearby, so that's probably going to be the next episode. The sheriff wakes up in a secret laboratory with his finger missing, and we get to see a scientist studying the finger, and it turns out the finger is coming to life and moving on its own. A very Return of the Living Dead there. But the biggest of the subplots is the girl that reported the fracking to the police. Rhodes just shows up and starts taking shots at her car in broad daylight, which leads to a decent chase scene around these, dead trees and stuff. But, yeah, a few things with this. The idea of, hey, make sure she doesn't talk, Rhodes, and Rhodes' idea is just to drive out to where she is and just start shooting at her in the middle of the day, that's very direct and very, very blunt. And also, I didn't talk about this before, but it's very, very disappointing that this character is Rhodes. Maybe they'll say that he had a brother in the army, and then we'll get the real Rhodes coming in, but just the fact that this guy, he's a dumb guy with a gun, and he's not the character that Rhodes was, Rhodes was one of the very few well-written jerks in movies. Most of the time, jerks in movies don't work. But George Romero's original Rhodes, that little weasel man, he was such a great jerk. He had power. He was the head of the last remaining bits of the military, and he had a point. He's like, scientist, you guys aren't discovering anything, and all my men are going out and getting themselves killed for you to not progress. He goes about his ideas in a very bad way. He's a very mean guy, but you can see where he was coming from, and he was just such an over-the-top jerk in the original Day of the Dead. And to see him here just being, I'm gonna shoot ya, that's not good. And I hope we get something better for this character, because Rhodes in the original was so good, and here it's just the name and the fact that he's a jerk, but it's not near as developed. But anyway, I think that's about all I have for this episode. Like I said, the flaws with the base concept, this not really being Day of the Dead and doing different zombie rules, that's still there. Not all the humor lands, but we have a lot less of the fracking stuff. We have a lot more focus on our actual protagonist, and we have zombies here this time around, so yeah, this is definitely a step in the right direction. I like this episode way more than the past two, and it's actually giving me hope for episode 4, so I'm really hoping this show stays good. We got one good episode so far. I hope it stays good. It's obviously always going to have those core differences, but even if this is not Day of the Dead, it can still become a fun zombie show, and I'm hoping we get there, even though this will still probably be canceled from the first 2 episodes. I'm hoping we at least get, what's there, 7 more of these left? I'm hoping we at least get 7 fun episodes, But anyway, what did you guys think of it? Did this episode redeem it for you guys? Because we are definitely taking a step in the right direction, and I do like that. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You're really helping the channel out. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you guys want to see more, you can click there and see more. That should be my Romero Zombies Extended Franchise playlist, and you can find my reviews for the first 2 episodes in there as well. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.